Once I started focusing on my personal health is whenever I felt like there was a turning point at the company. It was really finding an accountability partner, which Level Up and Live is full of them. And if not there, then find an accountability partner for sure. So there's bigger money, bigger problems. That's what I was running into. I was running into being sued. I was running into anxiety. I was running into working in the evening whenever my kids are playing. I'm still learning, and I'm taking a little bit as I can, and I'm taking it in increments that works for me, and I'm trying to apply it to the daily life.
Today's episode is a special one. I've got the one and only Michael Faust back in the show. And if you've heard his first episode compared to where he is today, it's night and day. Over the past 12 months, Michael has been doing the work, not just in business, but in his health, his leadership, his relationships, and his faith. He's not a perfect guy. He's a student. He's a work in progress. But what I respect about him is this. He's committed, he's consistent, and he's chosen not to do life or business alone. Today, we're pulling back the layers on that journey. What changed, what's been hard, and what it actually looks like to level up in real life. Michael, welcome back to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me here, Sean. For people that don't know, I own Faust Landscaping here in Montgomery County. I've already done one podcast with Sean, so this is a second cap, and I'm excited to be here.
It's going to be a powerful, man. I'm super excited about this. My first question for you and for our listeners and audience, we're just sitting at a coffee shop, having a conversation right now. I really want to pull back the layers on your journey in the last 12 months. Talk to us. Who were you 12 months ago compared to now?
12 months ago, I believe I was more stubborn to getting advice from other people that weren't in the landscaping industry. And now, being in this level up, I'm really able to be vulnerable, tell people about struggles that I'm having in the industry, and hear people's feedback. And maybe if they've gone through issues, they share it with me. Sometimes it relates. Sometimes it really hits home. Sometimes the information doesn't. I pick and choose kind of what works for me and try new things. Not everyone's in the landscaping industry, but that's been the big thing with Level Up and Live, is really just being able to, sometimes just voicing an issue or just saying it out loud is enough in its own, and then just being around other people that are self-employed or managing large groups of people can really help dive in that information. So where I'm at now is, like you said in the intro, I'm still a student. I'm doing this alone at Faust Landscaping, but I have a group of men and women that I can, definitely dive into and express things that are going on a weekly basis. And it's definitely helped me in the journey now. So we're on the up and up. We're still learning every day, and that's where we're at.
So take us back to 12 months. What were you struggling with the most? If you looked at your day-to-day 12 months ago, were you leading or reacting to the day?
I was definitely reacting. Some of the big struggles I was dealing with was anxiety. On the health side, I was dealing with setting up the schedule a day or two before the actual work day. So I was scheduling prior, like probably a lot of business owners do. But whenever it came down to the moment of doing the work on that day, I was doing a lot of reacting, like you said, to situations instead of really following the guidelines that I set the couple days prior. And, now we utilize a lot of apps at the company. We do a lot of upfront work that saves us time at the end. And it's scary to make those adjustments at the beginning. Like, oh, I'm already overwhelmed with work. And whenever you put in the work initially, it's going to save time eventually. And then you'll have more free time initially. Eventually. That's a lot of words there.
Nah, man, you hit the nail right on the head. And I think a lot of our entrepreneurs and business owners and leaders listening to this can resonate with that, reacting versus leading the day. And especially when you're scaling, leading a team, leading your personal life and in your community. What made you realize you needed to change? Because a lot of times we get sick and tired of being sick and tired. We feel like we're in the rat race, the cog in the wheel. What made you realize that, enough is enough?
So I don't have a small landscaping company. I don't have a crazy huge landscaping company. So, we have 40 members in the landscaping company, and the company it regulates from 30 to 45 people throughout the year, and that's a beast to feed. So whenever the numbers start going the opposite direction and you're funneling a lot of these projects, if they're 2,000 or 50,000 or whatever they are, and you're not getting paid in time, you're losing the love of landscaping, and it's becoming a job and it's not a passion. That's whenever I realized, hey, I met the people at the Level Up and Live, and I'm getting uncomfortable being comfortable, going to these runs, going to early morning workouts, following a diet plan, listening to Level Up and Two, really finding issues and gray parts in my company that I needed to dive into. But the eye opener was just, it wasn't like I woke up and I wanted to go to work. It was just difficult. So I wanted it to be smoother. I wanted my customers to be happy. I wanted to be happy. I really wanted everything to just be a lot smoother and make money and everyone be happy at the same time.
What I'm hearing you say is that you were tired of tolerating doing the same thing over and over again and then expecting different results. But I'm also hearing you, and I'm just paraphrasing here, is when you started working internally on yourself and you started getting vulnerable, like you said earlier, with this safe place, you were able to open up and kind of shed the light on some of the things that you had been going through. And when you hear it from other people's perspectives, it makes you almost feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this process of building something great. And then one day after another, 1 week after another, you started internalizing that, going, oh, I can actually take these same principles and fundamentals and apply this in my other areas of life, and as a husband and in health and different relationships. And I've seen you do that over the last 12 months. It's been pretty awesome to witness.
Yeah. So at Faust Landscaping, we have a great shell of a company. There's a lot of moving parts. I would say the biggest thing for the owner, the guy at the top of the pyramid, whenever I started focusing on my health and I was becoming happier as a person, that's whenever the company started doing better. That's whenever I started buying new trucks, started accounting the finances, new equipment for the guys, matching uniforms. I got happier. I was making sure my employees were happier. Then the company got happier. Then our our customers got happier. And ultimately, integrity, customer service, those are some of our core values. And once I started focusing on my personal health is whenever I felt like there was a turning point at the company.
I agree with you on that. And then for our listeners and audience that are listening to this, why do you think so many business owners and leaders don't actually take that action and internalize and then plug themselves into a community or reach out for help or seek counsel, mentorship? Somebody's been down the road that they want to go down. Why do you think that they hold off on it?
I think it's because you just get wrapped up so much in, I have to get this done right now. I have to answer the phone call right now. It's because you're the man now. You're not working for the man. And every penny you're just trying to grab as much as possible. And it's really hard to just let go and follow the steps that you see everyone else making. You think that I have to answer the phone call on Sunday and go to that person's house on Sunday, versus you actually look more professional setting an appointment during the week, during business hours, and telling and putting that boundary with the client. Once you do that, then it lets them know, like, hey, he's serious. If you jump through every hoop that the customer allows you to jump through, then you sometimes get pushed around by the client. It's, hey, this guy's easy to push around. He's going to do everything I say. So that's one of those clients where you do the job on an agreed amount and then they haggle with you when the bills due, and it's, I think they just need to really focus on the small things. They all matter, big and small, but the small things is what is really going to help people like me, like focusing on my diet, focusing on the working out, the weight loss. It also helps with the way Faust Landscaping is operated. So yeah, just don't skip any steps, but don't overwhelm yourself either.
There's so many people listening to this and going, how does health and being a better husband and focusing on your diet help build your business? And that's probably a whole episode in itself, but I resonate so much with that. And that is what we call alignment. Because when you're in alignment with your food intake, because if you are fueling your tank with energy and sleep and exercise and recovery, you're able to actually pour from a tank that's filled. Your customers, your employees, your partners, the people that you're doing business with. You can't give what you don't have. And what I love about what you're saying is most of the time we're just focused on the external surface level of the day to day, like what you said earlier. I got to wear this hat, the sales, the marketing, we've got to make sure that our customers are getting taken. All of it's surface level. But when are we slowing down to really focus on what's going on inside of us underneath the hood? I'm curious, man, what habits or patterns did you have to break to go through that process?
I guess it starts with the way I woke up, right? And the way I went to bed. So I had to make sure I got the family time in. I had to wake up early. So it was 4:30 in the morning for a long time. Now it's 5 a.m. I cushion it a little differently, change my workout patterns as well. But it was really finding an accountability partner, which Level Up and Live is full of them. And if not there, then find an accountability partner for sure.
What would you tell somebody that's like, oh, I don't need to be held accountable? I don't need to be held accountable. What would you tell if a leader said that to you, to your face right now?
I think everyone needs to be held accountable. And I would say once you've mastered what you're getting at, once you've really became it's in a rhythm, like I work out 3 or 4 days a week, every week, haven't missed in 3 years. Okay, you don't need an accountability partner for working out anymore, but you do need an accountability partner on EOS. You do need an accountability partner on something that's not revolving around your diet. Your diet's just where it starts, but then it can just snowball effect from there.
What would you say all these habits and processes that you're putting into place, not only in your business, but also in your personal life as well, just in a short period of 12 months, working on your diet, working on your nutrition, working on who you're hanging out with, what conversations you're having? Where would you say you've grown the most?
Well, something that is just in my head, and you didn't ask the question, but I definitely want to share it on this podcast, but all of this definitely originated with the Level Up and Live group. Okay, so I'll just say that right there. Now, where I feel like I've leveled up the most is not hiding from issues. Because I'm talking out loud often now, and I'm not just running the thoughts through my head, and I'm at the round table and I'm pitching it to everyone, just essentially strangers, that whenever a problem comes up with a client, I'm able to face it with humility, separate my emotions from the issue, and really act as an employee at Faust Landscaping with the customer's best interest. That's where I feel like I've thrived the most with Level Up and Live. So yeah, I try not to let people get to a certain level of screaming or bad Google review moments. It's really, hey, there's an issue over here. That's where I'm focusing my attention now. Not so much the crazy big job that's going on that's running through process and procedures on its own, but hey, we have an issue here. That's where I'm going, and I'm facing it right away with the client.
How important has it been not do this alone? Meaning going through this process of you being a student of the game, leadership, nutrition, sleep, exercising. I want you to stress how important it is to not do this alone in isolation.
So I was dealing with anxiety, and I think it was right before I was joining the Level Up and Live. And I do some public speaking, not a lot, but I'm not like a newbie at it. And I just started getting anxiety from holding in all of these emotions all the time that I literally thought I was having heart attacks, and being able to have the accountability partners express everything throughout on a weekly basis to people. So it's almost a must. I mean, like, there's not a stress it out. I mean, you want me to scream on here and tell everybody, that if you're not doing it, you're definitely missing out. I mean, that's what it's almost needed. Like, if you think you have all the answers, and you're on your own. I mean, I am operating a $4 million landscaping company, and someone that's a one truck show in my industry may think that they have all the answers. Well, that was me a while back. This is me with 40 plus employees multi-million dollar landscaping company, and I'm sitting at that table looking for advice and trying to collaborate with people on a weekly basis. And I don't go to Level Up and Live to try to gain work. That's all for personal growth.
What would you say happens when you try to do it alone? So for that person that's in isolation right now, and you've been there, I've been there, what happens to that individual, that version of you that you killed off when he tries to do it alone?
So there's bigger money, bigger problems. That's what I was running into. I was running into being sued. I was running into anxiety. I was running into working in the evening whenever my kids are playing. And it's just a chipping block whenever you go to these groups. You're not going to go in and they're going to Level Up and isn't going to shine a magic wand. It's, hey, you have this issue this week. All right, how are we going to fix it? How are we going to talk you through it? This is what I've done. It's not you come and visit and you're healed. It's definitely repetitive, and it's in a good way, repetitive.
Somebody listening to this right now going, Michael, I resonate with what you're saying and what I'm personally going through in my business or leading my team. What would you tell that person right now that is in isolation?
That they need to come to visit the Level Up and Live if they're not a member. If they are a member, they need to be more vulnerable at the table. They need to don't go to the Level Up and Live and try to be friends with everybody and laugh. It's really to fill your tank for you personally and say exactly what's on your mind. Try to go in with a high, a low, and a gratitude and an accountability. A lot of times I hear people, I don't have a low this week. I find one. I'll find a low. This is what bothered me. You know what I mean? I will tell you, and it may be a stupid low, but it means a lot to me, or it meant a lot to Faust Landscaping, and I want to be as vulnerable as possible, and I want to hit every question that needs to be, answered, and I want to fulfill my time every time I'm there.
And I just want to address something publicly with you, Michael. And I think in my professional opinion, I believe that's why you've experienced one of the biggest transformations in the last 12 months is because of how you've shown up. It's been an inspiration to me of how vulnerable you've been, how much you've leaned in and consistently shown up. And then also too, how curious you've gotten and taken what you've learned around the roundtables and applied it in your own life, whether it came to nutrition or exercising or business. You've listened, you've sought counsel. And like you said, you're a student of the game. You didn't have all the answers. You didn't know it all. You put the pride and ego to the side. You got out of isolation. You leaned in. You showed up every single week. That's the blueprint. And that's what I'm hearing you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's so many things like respect-wise, putting your phone down and making eye contact. I mean, there's so many extra things that go that I'm still wanting to learn, like I struggle with that, go have lunch with a friend and I'm on my phone. You know what I mean? I'm still learning, and I'm taking a little bit as I can, and I'm taking it in increments that works for me, and I'm trying to apply it to the daily life.
Beautiful, man. Where are you being stretched right now? Where do you feel like you're being stretched big time?
Putting the people in the right spot, not jumping the gun, not throwing bodies at problems, really hiring the right person for the right job. But I mean, God has been blessing my company since it was a slow start. So I won't say from the beginning, but like the last 6 years have just been a blessing. And I landscape year round. This isn't a seasonal business. So the work has always been there. The key points for me right now are just making sure that people are in the right spot.
What would you tell someone, a leader, business owner, entrepreneur listening to this right now that is stuck? He's in that rut and he's overwhelmed. He's frustrated. He's wearing all these different hats. What would you tell that someone right now listening to this? What would be that next action step?
Stop eating fast food. Stop eating TV dinners. That's number one. Put down the remote. Put down the video games. Stop with all the noise. Focus on CEUs. So get your continued education in your industry. Start there. Then mastermind books. Then networking groups. Then mastermind groups. I mean, just really getting involved as deep as you can in business hours for your company. And take one step at a time. Don't try to jump 3 or 4 staircases, on the staircase. Take one step, make an adjustment, take another, make an adjustment. And it's going to take you a while if you're in the rut. But what happens whenever you have a rut? You have to fill the rut back in. You have to smooth it out. You have to resod. Then you have to water the rut to fix the rut. It's not you're in the rut, you're going to join something and you're just going to immediately be fixed. No, it takes time and delicacy and consistency.
Great advice, man. Yeah, one of the things that we did last Friday at the mastermind group was an exercise. It was relating to a question, challenging question. And basically what it came down to, it was that the quality of your life, you listening to this, me and you, Michael, is going to be, and your business is going to be the quality of the question that you ask. And I didn't understand that just shy of 4 years ago. Up until 35 years of age, I didn't understand what a good quality question looked like, what a good probing question looked like. It was very surface level. How you doing? Great. How you feeling? Good. There was no deeper meaning to that question. And I had everyone around the round table, all 30 plus people, sit down, write down their question to a scenario. And the scenario was your business is flat in revenue year after year. You can't get over $4 million a year. You can't get over $100,000 a year. And your team's inconsistent in sales, in closing deals, in moving that needle. And I told each member to go and write down one question that they would ask to a room full of business owners or Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, somebody that knew how to help them get unstuck from this scenario. And it was interesting to go around and we had everybody share and pair up on who asked the best question around that. And everybody shared their question. Couple people chat GPT'd it.
Okay.
But that just goes to show kind of like what you're saying is like when you're experiencing these ruts and stuck and overwhelmed, you can continue to stay in that rut. And that's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So you've got to be able to get outside of that rut, fill it in, like you said, water it, pack it down. And you do that by getting curious, taking that action step of asking guys like yourself, reaching out to Michael and asking questions. What is he doing differently? If he's saying plug yourself in, if he's saying lean in and ask questions and do these different things, well, there's the blueprint. It's up to you to take the action.
I mean, I see it all the time. I'm guilty of it as well. I'll get advice and I'll hear it, but I won't take the action step because maybe it doesn't hit hard at that moment. But then eventually you're like, well, what's Michael doing? Why does Michael have a one income household and live in this X dollar house? And you know what I mean? Whatever. And I want to be like that. Well, we're telling you right here, right now, that these are the steps that we're taking. And you just have to listen and take notes.
Yeah, that's so good, man. And I think you have to go through that pain cave and be sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like you were done tolerating what you had tolerated 12 months ago. And you didn't want another networking group. You didn't want another surface level conversation. You wanted somebody to challenge you. You wanted somebody to hold you accountable. You wanted somebody that was down the road that you wanted to go down in these different areas of life, health, relationships, spirituality. You wanted to learn from that individual. So you plugged yourself in. You invested the time, energy, and effort. That right there is the blueprint.
That energy is what I thrive on. Other people are different, but because I'm at the top of the pyramid on my day-to-day basis, I don't have someone saying, hey, Mike, hey, that's not right. This is, you know what I mean? Everyone says, yes, sir. And they're going to do what I say. But who am I supposed to get advice from? This is definitely something better for me. I love being held accountable. I love being called out on the spot. I love being checked on during the week. It just makes me feel like I'm thought of. It makes me feel like I'm not going to let these other people down, not just Faust Landscaping, but I'm doing this for me and for them, for Faust Landscaping, for my family.
Well, Michael, man, thank you so much for being on the show today and saying yes and really opening up and being vulnerable. I know this is going to be nothing but valuable and impactful. It's going to serve a lot of people. You are an inspiration to me, brother, in how you continue to show up, how you continue to level up and work through this transformation. With individuals like you, I commend you, and I feel like we're just getting warmed up. So thank you for sharing your journey, and thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. I can't wait for a year from now, the next podcast.
We haven't had a third returning guest, so we may have to change that. Well, if you're listening and you feel stuck or isolated, don't do it alone. take that away, take that one next action step, reach out to myself or Michael. We'd be more than happy to guide you, point you in the right direction. Come be our guest at Honor Cafe every Friday, 7:30 a.m., the Level Up Live Mastermind group, and get in the room. Michael, thanks again, brother.